So today we're going to be fitting the exhaust pipe onto the Bantam. So it's going to go from there, come round, over there. Mine is an over the footrest one, not under, over the footrest. It's going to come along there, then it's going to join the silencer round about here, and the silencer fastens onto this bolt here, or this hole here, and I'll show you where it goes in a moment. So I've laid everything out on the floor, and so what we've got the pipe that comes round. It's already got the bracket, the nut that you have to do with a C-spanner. I've put that on there. That goes over the silencer, clamps it onto there. Those are the baffles, and that's the fishtail at the back with that. And the reason I've laid it out like this is I want to show you the problems that I've had, because like everything, nothing is ever straightforward with a Bantam, and it was to do with this pipe here, which is a replacement part. And I'm going to switch to the bench now and show you what I mean. So, those eagle-eyed amongst you will see that I've actually got 3 pipes. This one was my original one, and like an idiot, when I fitted it to the bike for a trial fitting, I thought, blimey, it don't fit, it doesn't go over the exhaust properly. So what did I do? I thought, oh, it must be too big, so I cut something off. What a buffoon. Look how much I cut off. Hey, can't believe it, but I did. I cut it off, and consequently I ruined it. What a waste. Can't put anything on there because, well, it would just look awful on the bike. So I ordered a new one, a replacement one. Looks okay from the you know, initial thing, looks alright. But then when I went to fit it onto the bike engine, and I'll show you what I mean. I'll just change the camera angle. So this, like I say, was the old one. So gets on there, thinks, oh, that's lovely, great. But then it would, like I said, it wouldn't fit on the end of the silencer. So when I put it on, I'm going, what on earth's wrong with that? It won't go. And I've got it there, and I'm thinking, there is something definitely wrong there. It's just not fitting. And I cut it, and I made a right arse of it. Absolutely ruined it, like I say. So that was my first major mistake. Why I did it, don't know. But I did. So, like I say, I ordered a second one. Let's see if I can get it to focus in a little bit more. So, like I say, when I put that on there, what a nice tight fit it was. Look at that. Absolutely superb. Nice and tight. I'm thinking, brill, right, that's not a problem. Plenty of room under here, because mine isn't over the footrest, goes over the footrest, doesn't go under. So then, whoops, we got the replacement part. And when you put it on there, to get a nice tight fit, look at that. I don't know if the camera can pick it up. It's not even square. In order for it to go square, roughly where it wants to be, I'm just trying to do it all on my own today. So it's nice and square, but it's not square there, look. Why on earth is it always the same? It should be nice and flush, but it's not. There's a gap there, and it's too big a gap. So I wrote away and contacted the bloke who sold it, and he didn't have any spare ones in, so I've had to wait for the spare ones to come. And to be fair, the spare ones here, and this little thing that I'm sliding up and down here, that's it clamps onto there. You pull it with a C-spanner, and we'll be doing that in a moment or two. But anyway, this one is very, very similar. Not as bad, but very, very similar in terms of there's a gap there, which is not really acceptable, but I ain't going to get a better thing. So by the time I've clamped it on and pulled it nice and tight, I'm going to have to just adjust it and go like that. So in order to get round that problem, rather than start using exhaust gum and all the rest of the stuff that's on there, what I've come up with is an exhaust ring. Now this is an exhaust ring off a Kawasaki 750, and I thought, wow, I wonder if it fits. And you know what, when you look, when you look at that, I'll just try and get it on the end there. What a nice fit. But does it fit on the bracket? And guess what? When you push it in, it does. It just fits in nicely. Oh, it just fits in nicely there. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use that as a filler to clamp up against that surface there, clamp it up. That will allow me a little bit of flexibility. The copper will contract and expand, and I'll tighten it up as it goes along, and then it will allow me to just make that minute adjustment onto the exhaust thing. So I'm going to stop it for a second and just pull the camera back. So I've just come back to the bench just to show you the actual insides of the exhaust. Now it's a Campbell's replacement silencer, made in England, Z700 it says here, and to be fair, I've had this years and years and years, but like most things, I don't know if you can see inside the it had been hanging up in my garage for, well, 20-30 years really. So when I got it down, when I was starting to put it onto the bike, I noticed that the nuts and things all seem to be a little bit rusty. So I turned it upside down like that, poured loads and loads and loads of WD-40 onto the nuts to make them be able to come undone. And as you can see, they're just coming undone very, very nicely. Now the reason I wanted to make the nuts become undone was I'll show you in a minute. The nut goes on there like that on the edge. The reason I wanted to do that was I needed to take off the tail fin so it just comes away, and see what condition the baffles inside, what they were like, because I just had a feeling with it being years and years and years and years old, they'll be absolutely jiggered. And sure enough, when the baffles were in the motorbike, in the silencer itself, they were stuck on, and so I ended up having to put them on the vise and pull like mad and get them out, and that's what I did really. So they just came out ever so nicely. Now when you look down the silencer, they are really rudimentary, and inside there is something very similar to this. It blocks it, and it's a small disc, and the baffles go in just like that, and they go all the way until you can't push them any further. So, are you with me? Because why am I showing you this? Because sometime in the future, no doubt, you will have to take the baffles out to do a decoke on it. So anyway, that's where it goes down there. So we'll just put the nut back on to hold the baffles in, and should have a spring washer there. It's there. There's a spring washer. Just tighten it up. There we go. Just holds the baffles in place so they're not going to cause any problems. And you don't want to do it up too tight. You never get them undone. So really tight, back a bit. So it's there. Then we'll put the fishtail back on. So the fishtail goes on, and then we should have, there it is. There's one I made earlier. Is that the one? No, that's not it. There it is. No, that's not it. There you go. I was looking for the spring washer. Last thing you want to be doing is driving along and your fishtail falls out. So just nip it up. Again, I'm not going to do it too tight because I'll nip it up when it's on the bike, because I want to make sure that when I put this on, that fishtail there, that angle, I don't know if you can see it, there, I want to make sure that that's straight. So while I'm talking about that, let me tell you about another disaster I had. Okay, so this is hanging up in my garage. I went to get it down to go for a trial fit, and then came across this bolt here. Now this is a threaded bar, and it fastens onto the bottom of the suspension arm at the back of the bike, and it had two nuts on, and so I thought, right, well, I'll just free them off. I literally just put a spanner on, broke off. Story of my life. So I ended up having to go down to a lad that I know, Tim Ollett, and get him to put that on and then tap out and put another nut inside there, drill out the old one and thread it, and then we put a new bar in with some modern nuts and washers, and then that one holds it on nice and tight, and these two will adjust it when we put it on the bike itself. So let's go try and fit it. So I've pushed the bike on its stand that way a little bit, really, so that I can get in with the camera and show you what I'm doing. and show you how I'm doing it. There, as you can see, is I push that little copper sealant ring inside the threads just to make it so it's nice and tight, or give me a chance to put the nuts on. And I'm going to see if I can cut once I've caught the threads. There you go. I'm not going to tighten it up, I'm just going to give myself enough slack to be able to do what I need to do. So it's held on, but not fully. So we're just going to move it along. So this is the silencer, and then there's a clamp that goes over there. So we'll put that on first, and for tidiness I'm making sure that the bolt goes in that way, in towards the bike, to make it a little bit more tidier really. And I was trying to fit, when I was doing my practice fitting, I was trying to put the silencer onto that spacer there, onto that hole there, because I'm an idiot, and that's why I cut off that much off the exhaust pipe, because I thought, right, well, it's clearly that's what the thing is, but actually it don't go there, it goes on that one, on the back there. So what, you know, what an expensive mistake that was. 55 quid later, oops a daisy. And there we go. So that is fastened it onto there, got the clamp on, got that on there. These nuts go on the back of here. Now, the beauty about that so far is, little by little, it seems okay. And I don't know if you can see what I was talking about when the edge of the tail fin not being straight. You can see that it's down here really. And so what I can do is I can turn it. And I won't clamp that bolt, that nut up at the back until I've got it all on and fastened on. But for the time being, it's not touching the frame, only there. That's okay, that's okay, that's okay. So what I now need is my old C-spanner to tighten that up, and then tighten that up and tighten that up, and as I go, and then we'll do it. So bear with us while I find my C-spanner. So I've got my C-spanner. I'm just gonna just a minute. Why do they call it a C-spanner? Because it's got in the shape of a C. Oh, that way around. Probably see it there, in the shape of a C. It's got a little lug that's there, catches in these, and I'm just tapping it with a dead weight hammer, just so I don't put any undue strain or stress or anything on it, just nice and gently. That's all I'm going to do. I don't want to scratch anything, I don't want to cause any bother. Just a bit too, once, I have to come round a bit round there. It's a bit. So I'm just tightening this bolt up here on the other side, but I just want to show you on the camera that I don't know if it can pick it up, but there's a gap there between the silencer and the bottom of the suspension, which is brilliant because that means that it's not going to cause any undueness. So all I've got to do now is just tighten up that bolt, that nut, sorry, and then that should be all very well it done. So I'll just adjust the camera again. So I'm just going to adjust it. Oh, wrong way. That's okay. I'm sorry about the flashing light, that's the fluorescent strip light on in the garage, and it's conking out. Well, no doubt it'll blow there. Actually, do you know what, that looks pants, doesn't it? That looks pants. And the reason I'm saying it's pants is because it's not, there's a bit of a pipe showing. And I'm going to undo it and move it along. Better. Let's not spoil the shit for an ape of the tire, as they say. Done. Well, all being well, that concludes the exhaust fitting to the bike. Wow, another red letter day. Gonna turn it off? So let's have a look then. So we know we've done the C-nut, tighten that up, comes round over the footrest. We know that we've put a exhaust gasket washer in there, comes round over the footrest. There's that clamp that I was just doing up, just nicely tightened up, comes round. There's the bolt that we were just saying we were doing, and as we look down there's still a gap there between the bottom of the suspension and the thing, and the fishtail is in straight line running down there, so it's nice and neat. So all being well, that's it. A red letter day. The exhaust is on the bike. Now I've got to repair the carburetor, because you remember we had problems with that, but that's a different story. For now I'm going to leave it.